Electric trucks are here, and Chevy is bringing some serious power with the Silverado EV. This vehicle is a whole new take on what a pickup can be. Welcome back to another episode of Road Ready with Allie, and today we're going to be taking a look at everything that the Silverado EV has to offer, from its cool features and slick design to how it stacks up in the real world. Let's take a look. From the side, the Silverado EV has the classic crew cab look, but what's cool is the proportions. The Silverado EV rides on GM's Ultium EV platform, which means they were able to stretch the wheelbase and push the cabin forward. So that means more room inside, better weight distribution, and honestly, it just looks cool. First off, look at this front end. This grille is all about aerodynamics now. You've got a clean, modern face with a full-width LED light bar that gives it a futuristic vibe. It still looks tough, just with a modern twist. These wheels are 18 inches, but you can get up to 24-inch options on some trims, and there's available adaptive air suspension too, so you can raise or lower the truck depending on whether you're off-roading or cruising the highway. On the Silverado EV, there are two electric motors that produce 510 horsepower, and you can go 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. On a full charge, you're going to be getting 408 miles of range, and you can even charge 100 miles in 10 minutes on a fast charger if you're out on the road. The Silverado can also tow up to 10,000 pounds for all of your weekend adventures. Since this is a fully electric truck and there is no traditional motor under the hood, there is what Chevrolet calls an e-trunk. Now there's no way to open it from where I'm standing, but I will show you how to open it from the inside. To open the e-trunk, there is a button that is to the left of the steering wheel, and it has a little icon on it here for the front. So you just press it once to open it. And then to close it, you actually have to press and hold that for a few seconds, so don't forget about that. On some trim levels of the Silverado EV, there is a button out here that you can press to open this e-trunk, but this one does not have that. So another way that we can open this e-trunk is by using the key fob. There is just a button on here with the front trunk icon. We're going to press it twice, and it'll open up automatically for us. Now let's talk about the dimensions of this e-trunk. There's about 11 cubic feet of space in here, which equates to about 3 feet this way, 2.5 feet this way, and 1.5 feet tall. Also under the hood, we have a 120 volt outlet, 20 amp charger, and a 2.4 kilowatt capable outlet here. We have some cup holders. We have some cargo tie downs back here and also up front. Underneath this compartment, we have our tire jack and a drain. So if you want to put ice in here for a tailgate, you can do that and easily drain it, because there's not just one drain, but there's two. There's one underneath here as well. And it's really nicely lit in here, so you can even see if you have this open at night and you're working in here. To close the e-trunk, you have a few options. You can either press the button inside like we talked about before, you can use the same spot on the key fob, just pressing it twice, or you can pull down until you hear a chime and then it'll do it by itself. We've made it to the tailgate of the Silverado EV, and as you can see, this one has the multi-flex tailgate. So let's get into what that means, because it can do a couple of different things. First, this top portion can just come down if you need it to. You just press this button and then pull it down. So if you're hauling something that doesn't quite fit, it's a good option for it to lay on this part rather than the top of the tailgate. Otherwise, you can just have the tailgate come down like normal. Or another fun little trick is that you can just press this button and it lowers the top half of the tailgate. Then there is another button in here that you can press, which will manually fold down this area so it acts like a step, so you can get into the truck bed a lot easier. For space back here in the tailgate, you're going to have about 6 feet deep and 5 feet wide. There are some cargo lights here on the tailgate on either side, but you have to turn them on with a control on the infotainment system inside, so that's something to note. Over here we have some outlets. So we have two sets of 120 volt, 20 amp, and 2.4 kilowatts like we did up in the e-trunk. And then we have a 240 volt, 30 amp, 7.2 kilowatt outlet here. And the buttons to control them next to them. And underneath, a little random bit of storage. Maybe throw a screwdriver or something in there. So to put the tailgate back up, we just kind of have to take it step by step. So first we're going to raise our step. Then we can lift the entire tailgate. And then just the quarter panel. Something else to note is that you can lower this tailgate with your key fob as well. There is a spot to just click it twice and it'll do the work for you. We've made it inside the Silverado EV, and something to know is that on the Silverado EV, the trim lineup is Work Truck, LT, and RST. Today we are looking at an LT, so we're in the mid-level trim, and still we are seeing an EvoTex interior all throughout the cabin, but the front seats are heated and ventilated, which is great for a mid-level truck. And somewhere else that I'm also noticing that we are not in the highest trim is there is no Super Cruise. Super Cruise is GM's autonomous driving system. It is available on this trim level, but this one does not have it. It is standard on the highest trim. But we are still seeing a lovely heated steering wheel in this LT Silverado EV. Starting the Silverado EV is also different than what we're used to seeing. So there is no start button. You just have to have the key on you and you just press the brake and it turns on the car. So I'm pressing the brake and we've started up. Another new feature that Chevy has incorporated into the Silverado EV is the gear shifter. So they have it on the steering wheel column now, and it is just you have to pull it towards you and up to go in reverse, towards you and down for drive, towards you for neutral, and just press the button for park. So it's a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. The driver has an 11-inch display screen where you can see your range here and your percentage charged there, obviously your speed and the radio. You also have adaptive cruise control on here so you can see where your gap is there. Everything that you would need to see here as the driver, you're going to see it there. Moving over, we have a 17.7-inch infotainment screen, massive, standard now for Chevy, but something for the EV is that they do not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It's just the Google built-in. Some things to note here, we have climate here on the bottom, and you can also get into that here on the screen as well. Another thing we can do is go to our charging and we can see how long it's going to take for us to get all charged up. We can sign into our My Chevrolet account and put in your destination. It will tell you where to stop to charge to get to where you're going and adjust your ETA as needed. And something else that we can do here is turn on those cargo lights that we saw in the back. So how I got there is just going to controls, see more controls, lights, and then cargo lights, and then those will turn on our cargo lights in the tailgate. Over here on this side of the infotainment screen, we have a few quick access buttons. This one here is going to keep our car on for 60 minutes if we have enough charge. This is our easy access for controls, and this is going to be for our headlights. You can turn them off, you can turn your brights on, or you can make them automatically do that on their own. And there is an arrow here for a couple of other quick access buttons for your one pedal driving. You can turn that on and off there, and you can access your power base. But the one thing that I haven't mentioned is that this is the area where you turn the Silverado EV off, and it's the only place in this car you can do so. So you just press this button and you click vehicle off and it shuts it down. Underneath the infotainment screen, we have a couple of vents and hard buttons for our climate, which is really great to see. Then we have a wireless charger in here, as well as two USB-C ports, and underneath here we have a 12-volt charger. Then we have a couple of cup holders here, a storage spot for your phone or anything, and then the large middle console here, which you can actually fit a lot in, and there's one USB-C port there. Over on the passenger side, there is this cool little shelf area that is actually pretty deep. You could probably put your phone, maybe a snack there while you're passenger princessing. And another thing to note is these really different vents that are on both the driver and the passenger side of the Silverado EV. They do function normally, but they just look a little bit different. We're here in the second row of the Silverado EV, and let's talk about the door. So the door actually has a lot of space here. There's 2 cup holders and even some more storage on both sides, which is not always the case with the second row door. So we love to see that. For our passengers in the second row, we have a couple of seat back pockets here, and then we have 2 cup holders on the back of the console, which is really nice. Then our back seat passengers on the outboard seats will have heated seats, so we can use those controls there. We have a couple of vents. Underneath here we have a standard household outlet and 2 USB-C ports and some storage underneath here. Back here, our passengers are going to be super comfortable with 44.3 inches of legroom, which is so amazing. There's a ton of space back here. They also have this EvoTech seating, just like we saw on the front. And as I mentioned before, both outboard seats are heated, and there are lower latch anchors on both outboard seats. One of the standout features on the Silverado EV is the midgate. Now, this Silverado that we're looking at today does not have this feature, but it is really cool. And it is a feature where you would be able to basically remove this entire section so that you would have 10 feet of space to store and haul things with the tailgate, and you just put these seats down, you're able to remove the glass, and there is a storage space in the seat for that glass. It's really nice, it's really seamless, but this one just doesn't have it. So it's something that you should maybe look up and consider getting on your Silverado EV. It is a really cool feature. As I mentioned before, we are looking at a Silverado EV LT, which is the mid-level trim for the Silverado EV lineup. And what's standard for safety is crazy. They have a ton of braking features such as enhanced automatic braking, rear cross traffic braking, reverse automatic braking, and intersection emergency automatic braking. Other standard safety features are rear pedestrian alert, safety alert seat, side bicyclist alert, HD surround vision, adaptive cruise control, and side blind zone alert. Thanks for joining me on this walk around of the all-new Chevrolet Silverado EV. From its bold design to impressive electric performance, this truck is definitely leading the charge in pickup EVs. If you have any questions, want to see it up close, or take it for a test drive yourself, make sure you stop by Jeff Belzer's in Lakeville or New Prague today. And make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment down below what your thoughts are on the Silverado EV.